Hey guys, SamMcKdamn here, and today I felt like doing something a little bit different and actually do a full game commentary. Well, sort of. I'm calling it a real talk just so that I can actually give you my real thoughts and opinions on the ideas of how these gods work, and maybe just talk about some bullshit that happened to me for the past week or so, and yeah, let's see how this turns out. Also, I'll say ahead of time, or apologize ahead of time if you guys hear a lot of fan noise in the background. I have a bit of a mold problem right now, so I was just informed to just keep a bunch of fans running to try and keep air circulating so the problem doesn't get any worse. So yeah, apologies if it annoys you, but you know, shit happens, right? Anyway, so with Xing Tian, I decided to do him first, mostly just because the quest I got for this week was to play 2 games as a Guardian, 3 as a Chinese god, and, well, Xing Tian is the only god that fulfills both of those requirements, so whatever. Anyway, so, what about Xing Tian? Well, for those of you who don't know, his abilities is that his passive is every time he lands one of his abilities on an enemy, he gains stacks. Oh shit. Oh well. Oh yeah, and I should also mention that this Anubis is a complete fucking asshole. He was already calling out one of our players for being a troll and a noob even before the game started, and as you'll see, he's gonna be doing that the whole fucking game, and it's so annoying. It's always those Anubis players that act like that, you know, like it's either Anubis players, Alpwash, like Loki, or like the dickheads who fucking auto-lock gods when they come out brand new. Like those are always the fucking asshole characters. I don't know why. Anyway, so Xing Tian's abilities is that his passive is every time he lands one of his damaging abilities on an enemy, it applies a stack, and each stack gives him HP 5. His 1 is his lane clear, and it also applies some chip damage. His 2 knocks up, and then when he slams down, it roots. His 3, he can do like a double jump sort of thing. And his ultimate is that he spins around and grabs people, and you can throw them in a desired direction. So, when it comes down to Xing Tian, he's a kind of character I really do enjoy playing, but I'll be the first to admit that he's one of those characters in Smite who has an unhealthy kit. And by that I mean, it's one of those kits where it's like, regardless how much you tweak his stats or how his abilities behave, he's either too overpowered or too underpowered. I think at this moment in time he's pretty like in a good spot for the most part, but even then, like, he's still like, his first 3 abilities are pretty good and probably above par, but his ultimate completely falls off. So it's just one of those things that Hi-Rez has been trying to adjust his numbers for like well over the year he's been released, and it, like, I don't know, it's just all over the fucking place. Like, his 2, for example. His 2 is actually extremely powerful because it knocks up and roots, but they nerfed it a while back where it would only, when he slammed back down, it would only apply a slow, and that was considered too weak, so they gave him back the root. So, yeah, it's just sort of like, it's all over the place. Hi-Res has this problem where they keep flip-flopping between ideas, and it's really fucking annoying. Like, they've done it to a bunch of items before, and it's really annoying because it's like, if an item is underperforming slightly, they'll like completely rework the numbers or how it behaves. So it's like, I don't get why they keep doing that, but whatever. I mean, find the happy medium is nice and all, but it's just kind of like blah. Anyway, So for the most part, I do like Xing Tian. I do like how his kit works and how his playstyle is. But yeah, even I'll admit that it's like I don't think he's so bad to the point where he needs a complete overhaul rework. Like the only god I can think of who would definitely need that because of how bad, how like terrible their kit is would be like Habo, because apparently Habo is like one of the most underperforming gods in Conquest, but literally in every other game mode he's stupid broken, which it makes no damn sense. So he would be like one of the characters I would completely rework from the ground up, and also on top of that he kind of looks ugly and outdated. So but yeah, Zinshin for the most part, right now I think he's okay. His ultimate is extremely weak at the moment, and it's really hard to catch people with it. But you can still do some pretty dank plays with him. As far as for the build that I go with Zinshin, well, the build I tend to go with most Guardians is based on the enemy team comp. I'll either rush Heart Ward or Saw first, and then get cooldown boots, then get the other half of Heartward or Sov, and then get like the cooldown armor. But for Zinshin, I've decided to do it a bit differently. My bad. In the sense that since his passive gives him a lot of HP 5, there's really no need to get Sovereignty. So instead of rushing that half, the Sov half, I got the cooldown instead, and I've done it for a few games already, and I've actually been performing quite well with Zinshin. So yeah, it's and I think with this game, I go the cooldown, like I pretty much rush cooldown, then I get Heart Ward, and then I get shit, I forgot the name. Mystical Mail, that's it. I get Mystical Mail, then I get, I believe, Bulwark and something else. I honestly can't remember, but we'll see what we get. Yeah, Bobby, got a nice dank ass play right there. That was pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, and unfortunately, for some reason, that in this game, minions just constantly sneak by. Like, I have no idea how or why, especially since the battle was happening like right in front of them. But there you go. I guess the minions are quite smart this time around. Also, I guess another thing I want to talk about is this new arena map that they have going because of the Reno games. Aside from the fact that it barely looks any different from the normal map, what they added was that sort of 100-meter dash thing, which you think would be aesthetic, but no, it actually does perform some gameplay where anybody who runs on it, they get like a small sprint effect so long as they're on it. And I don't know, I fucking hate it myself. For the first week I was playing, it just completely would throw me off, and I guess I've kind of gotten used to it, but it still kind of pisses me off because it completely throws off like your skill shots and everything. Because if the enemy's starting to run on it, then you have to like aim more forward than you normally would. And I don't know. I think the idea is that they're just trying to test something to see if this is going to be like a permanent change or not. If, you know, assuming how Hi-Rez would do this, or not really do this, but it's sort of like how Hi-Rez will go about with this map. But I don't know. I would highly suggest they don't. It's I don't think I've heard anybody really give like 2 thumbs up saying, "Oh yeah, this is fantastic change, definitely needed," type of thing. I don't know. It just feels off. Let's see here. So, and actually another thing I really like about Xing Tian is his his double jump. just because there's actually a lot of like little interesting plays that you can do with it. I mean, aside from the fact that you can do the jump, and the jump sounds so really satisfying every time you get it off. There's also times where like I don't think I did it at the beginning of this match, but what you can do is that for the arena, if you're on blue, you can hop onto blue and then move a little bit and then hop on red and get that started, so you get like a little bit of damage done at the beginning for one ability. Yeah, it's kind of like situational and all that, but I don't know. It's little things like that that just make Xing Tian really fun to play. The only downside is that you can't hop over walls with it, which I guess is fair. But the weird thing that I found is that I think it happens in this game at least once, but even though you can't hop over walls, you can hop over god walls, which is kind of weird and doesn't make too much sense, because it's like, why can you hop over one wall but not the other? But yeah, so that's just like a little tip for you guys. And yeah, I guess I should mention as to why the ult is considered to be like bad right now for Xing Tian, and it's purely just because of the wind-up mechanic. It just takes way too damn long for it to really start connecting. I can understand why, because before it was like instantaneous, and like it was impossible to sort of like react to it unless you just had beads right off the bat. But I think 2 seconds is a bit too long, so I think before the charge up time was like maybe a second, so I don't know. Like, that's just one of the examples of like Xing Tian's kit being like too like, it's just hard to balance. So I don't know if Xing Tian's ult needs to be reworked to be something different, but yeah. It's just that something does need to change when it comes to him. So as for what it is, don't really know, but yeah, I'm sure Hi-Rez will figure something out eventually, hopefully. But yeah, it's just sort of like, yeah, like right now I'm having the problem of trying to actually find good positions to try and get the ult to go off type of thing. So yeah, geez, we're getting pretty fucked hard here. So yeah, and that's a constant problem I was having throughout the game. It's sort of like I am supposed to be the initiator type of thing, but it's hard to find good spots to initiate. So it kind of sucks. Also in this game mode, the Kumbhakarna mentioned the I think he called it something else, but I found out what it was. It's the new selfish build that Duke Sloth came up with, and I won't go into detail about it, but I've seen Duke Sloth's recent video talking about how it works, like why you build it and all that. And for the most part, the Kumbhakarna was doing fine. I didn't have any problems with the way he was building or anything. But I looked at the builds, saw the video, and for the most part, I found that the build is... Well, I can agree that there are good points about it, and I can see where Duke was coming from. Unfortunately, that's not really my playstyle when it comes to playing Guardians. I like to actually build for the team, so that's why I always like get Heart and Sov. So I can understand the idea that the selfish build is like the tankiest version, and it allows you to be in the fight for the longest, but I don't know, it's not really for me. Although he did explain why Hide of the Irken is actually an extremely good item, which back in Season 1 I built that all the time, but I stopped just because it was too expensive, and I think a lot of the abilities kind of fell off. Oh man, that was actually a really... oh shit. Oh man. Yeah, I'm the greatest. No, but Yeah, so Height of the Irken was really good back in Season 1, and I don't think it ever really truly fell off. It was just a lot of people stopped building it because Hard and Soft came out, and those were like really good. And it kind of overshadowed Irken in that sense. And I guess Duke just sort of brought it back, I guess. But I don't know. I guess the next time I play Guardians, I'll have to look into like making a conscious effort into building it. But for the most part, it's just one of those things where it's like it's been so long since I've last built it. It's like I genuinely do have to make like oh my god, a conscious effort to try and build it, just because it's been like pretty much a year since I've last built that item. Yeah, and of course the Anubis is bitching at me and Kuhn for not defending, even though it was just two of us. So I think after a while I basically just keep telling Anubis just to shut the fuck up every time he makes a voice command, because it's just that damn annoying. But yeah. I'm actually just trying to think of what else to really talk about in terms of Xing Tian. Oh yeah, one of the other things that I think a lot of people don't really tend to talk about with a lot of gods is sort of like their personality and how they behave. Or if they do, it's just sort of like they sound annoying type of thing. But Xing Tian is kind of like one of those personalities I actually really like in gods. It's sort of like the idea that he is a very serious kind of character, but there is a lighthearted side to him where he's not above like making like dumb jokes or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know what it is about that type of personality, but I don't know. It just always makes me like him a lot more. Kronos is another good example of that kind of god with that sort of personality. But let's see. I'm actually trying to think of what else to say. Let's see. Oh yeah. I guess I could also mention why I haven't really been uploading like actual content lately. Like it's mostly just been like audio surf runs or whatever. And the reason for it is just because life for me has been extremely busy for the most part. Like I'll tell you right now that I have been working two jobs. So the first one being with, well, I might as well say it now because I don't work for them. I used to work as a lot associate for the Home Depot, and that job was fucking excruciatingly terrible. Like I fucking hated that job. It was the worst thing. And the worst part about it is that it wasn't so much the fact that the job itself was bad. I mean, it was, but at least I could say it was tolerable. For the most part, what really sucked about it was the management. The management was just terrible. Like, seriously, some of the worst. I'll probably leave it for other videos, other points in time as to why why the management was as bad as it was. But for now, I'll just leave it as that kind of blanket statement. And I did pick up a second job, and they're treating me a hell of a lot better. I'm basically getting the exact same pay as I was at the Home Depot, and I was at the Home Depot for 4.5 years type of thing. And right now they're paying me the same, so it's like there's no reason to go back. So I quit the Home Depot job, and my new job, like, even though they're being fair, they are working me quite hard. So like just recently at the end of last week, beginning of this week, I worked 40 hours in 4 days type of thing, and for the next like few days I'm working 9 to 5 shifts. So again, pretty busy for me, but it's something that I can handle. It's just that unfortunately I've just been too tired and too busy to actually work on real content, so I do apologize for that. But I'm gonna try and balance it out a little bit better, which is one of the reasons why I'm trying out something new. Oh, and yeah, here you can see my speedy fingers typing out a message to Anubis, basically saying "fuck you," apologize to Odin. Oh my, wow. I guess this is what happens when I don't pay attention in typing class in preschool, or not preschool, like grade school, but oh well, shit happens, I guess. My fingers are fast enough to play video games, so good enough, right? Anyway, so, man, I'm actually trying to think of anything else I could talk about. Well, I guess that's about it. Surprisingly enough, I have been getting some really good pulls with Xing Tian's ult this game. And yeah, so I guess my overall sort of feelings for Xing Tian is that he is an extremely good guardian. But if you're the type of person who has to rely on a god's ult to do well, well, first of all, you're a really bad player. But second of all, you're going to have a really tough time with Xing Tian just because of that. So, yeah. So, sorry if this was a bit boring, but I'm just trying out something new. Let me know what you guys thought, and yeah, hope maybe we could do some more of these, and maybe you guys could suggest some other gods I could talk about. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. Bye.